Hello, welcome to the first of a video series that I'm calling From Financial Freedom to Armageddon. This is going to be a really casual series of about 5-minute videos, unscripted. I'm just going to talk off the top of my head about certain topics that I think are very important, and certain knowledge that's very important to understand to weather the second phase of this global economic crisis and global monetary crisis and come out on top. The first video today, I'm going to be discussing education and why I think it's a wise decision to put off education if you are a young adult right now considering entering university, or you're a young working adult considering going back to graduate school. I myself attended an Ivy League school for my undergraduate education and then went on to a top 15 business school to attain my MBA. And looking back at it, even though it was a long time ago, being an entrepreneur and having started my own company, now I really think the utility of my undergraduate education and my MBA was about zero. There is, I can say this with 100% honesty, that there was nothing I learned that contributed to my success as an entrepreneur, and nothing that I learned during the 4 years of undergraduate education and the 2 years of my MBA that contributed to my success as an entrepreneur. So a lot of people will say, well, how can you say that? How can you say education is worthless? Or in my opinion, it was actually even harmful. And the reason I say it was harmful, institutional form of academics was harmful, was that in business, if you look at the history of business education in America, you will find that the bankers basically made it a point to ensure that their employees were on the boards of education of all the top schools in America, and eventually on most of the boards of the top schools all around the world. Now, the reason that they were so intent on infiltrating education was because that they wanted to make sure that they only taught you concepts that they wanted you to know, so that you would only believe what they wanted to teach you. So what I learned during the course of my MBA was that everything I learned about central banking, about the trade cycle, the credit cycle, about government statistics, about the purposes of central banks, about fractional reserve banking, about how money was created, was 100% wrong. And that still holds true today. I guarantee you could ask 1,000 graduating members from Harvard Business School, so 1,000 Harvard MBAs, how money is created in the US today, what gives its value, and that if they give you back, if they spit back the textbook answer that they learned in business school, that 1,000 of them will be wrong. So, when you realize this, you have to ask yourself, well, what value does this education have? And today, in understanding the monetary crisis, right? I mean, you see the same things going on. You see these Nobel Prize winning economists with PhDs from Princeton, Harvard, MIT, going on TV for the past 3-4 years telling you that the subprime crisis was contained, that and then when that didn't happen and the crisis got worse in 2007, they came back a year later and said the economy was recovering, and then when that didn't happen, they came back again this year, 2010, to tell you the economy is recovering, even though unemployment is off the charts in Spain, the United States, the United Kingdom, even though sovereign debt is growing at enormous rates and enormous percentages of GDP for many of the leading world economies. So you have to understand that there is a game that's being played. It's a game just like poker, and that politicians and bankers are holding poker faces now, but if you can't call them on their poker face and you take the wrong steps, that you could really be financially devastated, and it could take you the rest of your life to try to recover. So that's why it's so important not to buy into this propaganda, not to go to school just to learn propaganda, because you're not going to learn the truth by attending business school, by getting your MBA. And I can guarantee you that, because I've been through that process, and has not contributed one iota to my success as an entrepreneur, one iota to my understanding of where this financial crisis is heading. If you go visit my financial blog at www.theundergroundinvestor.com, I encourage you to go back to 2006 when I started posting, and I started calling this crisis in 2006, and in 2008, just 18 business days before the US stock market crashed, I called it when other economists were saying the economy was recovering. And it's not because I have a crystal ball, it's not because I'm a genius in understanding how money works, but it's only because I literally threw out everything that I learned in college and in my MBA program about money, about the trade cycle, about stock markets, to truly understand how the financial markets work. So that's going to conclude the first series of education. The second video is also going to be about education. I'll have a lot more to say. So I hope you stay tuned. I know a lot of you will be skeptical about what I'm going to say, but I hope you watch, because skeptical or not, I believe that having this knowledge will be the difference of whether you prosper or you fail during this monetary crisis. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.